Alright, everyone buckle up, because the boss is finally offline, and we can chase our space exploration dreams freely. Tonight, two men definitely got drunk. For Jerome, Vincent is the golden key to dreams come true, but unfortunately, he's surrounded by rat race culture, like leveling up in a video game. Such an outstanding Jerome can only face the shame of playing second fiddle, like an athlete always finishing with a silver medal. Driven by his overwhelming pride, Jerome decided to call it quits but ended up as the double amputee superhero. And now, Vincent's hard work made him a top-level astronaut through shared pride. Meanwhile, the cops figured out Vincent's genetic sample through a pesky eyelash and agent was totally blown away. The next day, Vincent was set to join the routine fitness training. On the treadmill, he stealthily swapped in his pre-recorded heart rate monitor, such ingenuity. Just then, the sheriff and a detective barged into the office, discovering that the eyelash belonged to a guy named Vincent, a genetically challenged janitor who vanished into thin air. First, based on genetic data, he couldn't possibly survive past 30. Second, if he were alive, he'd be well over 30. What flawless logic. Even if he was alive, with so many security checks at the company, there's no way he could slip in. Sheriff was troubled, and both were suddenly at a loss. Meanwhile, Vincent was pulling off the ultimate human metronome with his recorded detector so impressive. No matter how long he ran, his heart rate didn't budge. Soon enough, the detective leaders rolled in. They reported their eyelash findings to the operation chief. While discussing, Vincent's stamina began to drop. After Vincent had taken his time to steady his breathing, he ventured outside and unexpectedly bumped into Irene. What an extraordinary journey of love pursuit this truly is. Irene had stealthily snagged a hair from Vincent, which actually belonged to Jerome. Their genetic compatibility was off the charts. She's already thinking of him as a perfect partner. That night, Vincent freshened up, all set to step out. Confused Jerome, watching the woman outside, suddenly got lost in thought. The feeling was oddly enchanting. He understood women's preferences, mysteriously captivating indeed. Not only is Vincent amazing, but his genes are also a bonus. Soon after, Irene and he went to listen to a piano concert so romantic. Meanwhile, cops conducted genetic tests within a 10 km radius of the company, including daily office trash. Unaware of the drama, the two were driving back when they saw the cops checking ahead. Vincent had to keep up a brave face, and Irene pulled over. The two saw the cops checking pupils and collecting saliva. Vincent quickly took off his contacts and claimed he just kissed Irene. So, better have a blood test. Seeing Irene didn't deny, she surprisingly pulled out evidence, leaving Vincent speechless. Upon seeing Jerome's legitimate identity, the cop didn't ask further questions and let them leave, but without his contacts, Vincent suddenly turned into a blind man. Everything was blurry, and all he wanted was to head home. Unexpectedly, Irene parked the car and walked to the opposite street, wanting to take Vincent to a mystical place, but for blind Vincent, it felt like suicide. Fortunately, everything turned out to be safe in the end, and Vincent dashed across the street at a rapid speed, a close call indeed. Irene led him to a set of solar panels. Together, they enjoyed an unusually beautiful sunrise. However, all Vincent saw was a fog. How strange and unbelievable. Over here, the detective tracked down Vincent through trash inspection. Saliva lingering on a disposable cup felt like going on a treasure hunt. The company had no records of Vincent, yet his traces were all over. It felt like tracking down a mystery. Very odd. The only reasonable explanation was that Vincent somehow slipped into the company. Thus, the sheriff decided to conduct a venous blood test. Fingerprick tests in urine could be faked. How could anyone secretly swap out their blood? The next day, everyone at the company lined up for venous blood tests, with cops watching to prevent anyone from cheating. After one round of screening, the cops found nothing, and the sheriff, totally baffled, wanted to do another round, only to be surprised when the company's chief ordered everyone to. The cops dragged Vincent away, yet no one could find him. What a dramatic plot twist, like a suspense movie. And so, the sheriff felt it was very strange, repeating, "This is so strange," which became his catchphrase. This is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange. This is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange. This is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange. This is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange, this is so strange. Vincent and Irene enjoyed a moment of romance on the dance floor, their feelings almost spilling over, but soon, chaos ensued as the sheriff and his crew crashed the party. Everyone hurried to escape the dance hall. While the detective was collecting utensils, he stumbled upon Irene's belongings. What a search for evidence! Vincent acted decisively. He knew if he got caught, his identity would be revealed. No matter how Irene saw him, he couldn't let his chance at space slip. The detective was tailing Vincent, frantic like ants on a hot stove. Vincent quickly went into escape mode. At this point, Vincent didn't explain anything to Irene and hurried away. The two spent the night at Irene's place, just like in a movie. The next day, while Vincent was exercising, detectives were already collecting evidence at his spot. Irene dashed back the minute she saw them. She found Vincent and urged him to hide, but the detective was still relentless. What a charming yet exhausting chase. Vincent asked Irene to take her to Jerome's place. Irene verbally agreed, but deep down, she favored a no-one-around scenario. Because she was the one who hid Jerome, Vincent had already informed Jerome to get ready. At this moment, Jerome was finally ready to be himself. No more hiding. Gratitude washed over him.